So just when you think full-sized keyboards are not a thing anymore, Redragon comes with their Antonium Pro 108. This has no knob, no screen, but you get 4 extra keys for further key binding. Not only that, I also think the colorway looks really yummy. Kinda looks like the color of creamy desserts from the Philippines. Anyhow, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Daniel with the Biboyharanero team. We've been reviewing keyboard stuff and mouse and microphones, basically everything related to PC setups for the past 5 years now. Subscribe so you're always updated with new tech releases. Now, back to the keyboard. This has a gasket-mounted structure for a bouncy feel that feels cushioned versus having a tray-mounted keyboard that feels stiff. Contributing to the overall bounce is its FlexCut PC plate and FlexCut PCB. This connects via wired, Bluetooth, or 2.4 GHz dongle, all powered by a 4000 mAh battery pack. If you're wondering, this does not have any delay when used in wireless mode. I've been using this for gaming the past few days and did not notice any interference or any issues so far. This is all thanks to its all-key anti-ghosting feature with its 1000 Hz polling rate. This will perform even in the sweatiest zombie games you guys play. Slapped onto the keyboard are the legendary Mint Mambo switches with 40-gram springs within. They feel really light to the fingers, and I think it's best suited for fast keystrokes. Anyhow, if it's too light for you, or you generally just want to change the switches, freely swap them out as the PCB has universal hot swap south-facing sockets. Now, let's go over the software. So the software here is pretty straightforward, and the first tab, you have device info, so on and so forth, which is pretty much self-explanatory. In the next tab, by the left-hand side, you will see the profiles, and also by the right-hand side, you will have the keyboard with customizable keys. It's worth mentioning that you could add in mouse buttons into your keyboard. In the next tab, you have options for light effects and custom lighting. In the next tab, you also get an option for lighting. However, this is where I believe the RGB on your keyboard will react to your PC sound. The next tab is where you record your macros, and it's also worth mentioning that macro recording also detects your mouse clicks. That's pretty much it for the software overview. Let's go over build. Inside the box, you get the keyboard, documentation, cable, 8 extra Mint Mambo switches, and a key puller combo. Oh, you also get stickers. The cable is generic, and I also have no complaints about them. I love the inclusion of 8 extra Mambo switches for a total of 116 switches you can harvest from this keyboard. Now, onto the keyboard. This weighs over 1 kilogram, so it's a little bit on the heavier side of keyboards. But this is a full-sized keyboard, so that was kind of expected. However, one of the greatest contributors to its weight is the internal dampers. This is fully dampened from underneath the PC plate down to the bottom case. So freely pause the video to take a closer look at the dampers. Now I checked the insides of the keyboard and did confirm that the bottom padding is made of silicone, which is the best damper that absorbs most of the vibration and adds to the overall weight of the keyboard, making it sound and feel more expensive. And yeah, I tore this down and realized that the screws underneath are all you need to take off to be able to take the top case out. Just know that one of the screws is hidden under one of the anti-slip pads. It's very easy to tear this down, and I think it's very highly recommendable for beginners. And by the way, since we've touched on anti-slip pads, yes, this has lots of padding underneath so it doesn't move around your desk. This also has kick-up feet, which I think is necessary because typing on the tall keycaps that this has, I just need a little bit more angle to type more comfortably. Anyways, the top of the keyboard has the OS switch, power switch, USB-C input, and dongle port. Overall, the build was as you would expect from a keyboard at this price range. Nothing over the top and nothing also to complain about. I briefly touched on the keycaps a while back, and what we have here are SA profile keycaps. They're made of double-shot PBT plastic, which is the longest-lasting type of build. Legends would virtually never fade. However, it's worth mentioning that the legends aren't shine-through, so lights will not make the legends glow. RGB fans out there, I'm sorry, but we'll go over RGB in more detail later on. Stabilizers that we have here aren't perfectly fitted on the PC plate, which causes a tad bit of rattling. I would re-lube them with dielectric grease, then I would also add in some cloth tape to the PC plate to tighten the fitment. There are a lot more mods that you could do to the stabilizers, which of course you could do a quick search online, but these are the top 2 mods I would do. Let's move on to the switches. This I think is the best feature of this keyboard because I'm a fan of ultralight switches. I am used to 38-gram springs, so 40-gram springs is basically almost just the same in terms of feel. Now, as I said a while back, I think light springs, which are about 40 grams and below, is perfect for gaming. You can expect fast keystrokes and no fatigue after hours of use. Here's a quick sound test. Now, this is offered in two color options, which is black and purple. I personally like the black one more, but the purple would look better on camera. Overall, I think you get a masculine and feminine colorway. Now, of course, if you feel like the black one is feminine and the other one is masculine, well, you do you. My comments on colorways are always subjective. By the left side of the keyboard, you get Redragon's branding. I personally do not like branding on my keyboards, but I don't see it anyways when I'm typing, so it's all good. Keycaps look really good on this unit. The contrast with black on white and the blacks on purple look really cool. Very easy on the eyes, especially for the ones that are broken. The extra customizable keys in the upper right corner also look good with special characters to them. However, as I said, they're not shine-throughs. So if you look at your keyboard when typing, you're bound to using this with the lights on. And speaking of lights, you get a light strip above the arrow keys with customizable RGB modes by pressing the function key and pause. Then with the function key and insert, you can cycle through the keyboard's RGB modes. The RGB is fairly bright and I think is satisfactory. Of course, more RGB controls are in the manual, so keep it handy. Now, there's that. If you have any questions, comment down below. I will leave links on where to get your Antonium Pro 108 down in the description. I get a little bit of commission from those links. Anyways, subscribe now, not later. Please. Just kidding. It's your choice if you want to subscribe or not.